a liberal arts and science education. Let me start with, I can come up with hundreds of interesting, exciting examples of people who have studied communication, psychology, sociology, philosophy, commerce, need not be engineering all the time, or law or medicine. You studied everything else and have actually had a wonderful career, created companies, changed societies, and become social entrepreneurs, even have gotten Nobel Prize for peace and literature. And so there is no doubt that a solid basic education in liberal arts and sciences is the way to go. That doesn't mean that studying engineering or medicine or law is not useful or exciting, but this is equally interesting and important. Look at Geeta Gopinath. She's the chief economist of World Bank. Kaveri Kalandithy, she is the CEO of Sun TV. So this founder, CEO of Starbucks, or Dennis Morrison, Campbell Soup. There are many, many examples of great people like this. They all studied something in the area of liberal arts and sciences. Our program has been conceived with this this idea from great Gautam Buddha. What we are today comes from our thoughts of yesterday, and our present thoughts build our life of tomorrow. Our life is the creation of our mind, and what we do with our liberal arts and sciences education is help create young minds. So that is the starting point. That is the starting philosophy of our School of Liberal Arts and Sciences. So creating that interesting, thoughtful mind. If you look at our mind and thought and our brain from an evolutionary biology point of view, our brain has been evolved to solving simple, dangerous, and problems needing immediate solution. Think about sighting a lion, any other danger in our ancestral time. It is a simple problem. You can immediately identify the problem, and typically those problems are dangerous, and you need to either fight or run or climb a tree to avoid that danger. But contemporary problems are quite different. They're highly complex and nuanced. Need not be that dangerous. They could be dangerous, but not so dangerous typically. And typically the solutions can wait. Now, what do? We need to retrain our brain to tackle interesting, complex, exciting problems of the contemporary world, and a liberal arts and sciences education is designed to doing that.
Liberal arts and sciences
program. So these
are
our 5 themes of our school of Liberal Arts and Sciences.
It's a very special program. We are looking for open-minded young scholars willing to join a challenging journey of learning, reflecting,
the idea of
discovering,
New India,
and practicing.
the dream of New India.
If you're
New
interested,
India where our mothers
please
and sisters
check
and
our
daughters
website.
can move around proudly.
There's plenty of
New
information
India is a
there.
happy, green
If
India.
you have further questions, you can also email
really
us.
take care of
Thank you.
all the people. So it's a very, very special place. That is our dream of New India. So to create that, we need to really instill or engender that social transformation. So the surrounding themes are sustainability and sustainable living, AI, cognitive science and technology. Of course, we need to understand culture, politics, philosophy, and history. And above all, the idea of looking at problems and constantly framing and reframing problems, because complex problems rarely get solved immediately. It is all about going into the journey of solving complex problems. That's why effectual and reflective problem framing and reframing. Now, if you look at how technology and how the industrial organization of our societies have changed, we started with a few hundred years ago with the steam power. Then comes electricity, discovery of electricity, and then automation. And today we are talking about AI and machine learning and deep learning, neural networks, and Internet of Things. We also collect trillions of data points every day. So this is how the industry and in some sense society has evolved. So what happened with the discovery of steam power? Most jobs needing power and speed got replaced. What happened with electricity and automation? Most jobs needing repetition and precision has gotten replaced by machines and computers. Now we are experiencing the AI, artificial intelligence revolution. Here, we are slowly replacing most jobs needing abstracting simple rules from large sets of data. So the type of jobs which are going to be left for the future, it may not be today, it may not be in 5 or 10 years, but remember, all of you who are looking for starting a university education in engineering or liberal arts or medicine or law or commerce, you are going to have at least 40 to 50 years of career. It's different from what I'm experiencing or my parents or grandparents have been experiencing. We are talking about 40 to 50 years of career, and nobody can say how these artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things, these revolutions are going to shape our careers. So what would be left is, solving ethical, highly complex, nuanced problems continuously, and that is what a good liberal arts and science education would give you, would prepare for and give you the foundation. After the study, you might go and study computer science or maybe something else, or you might go and study chemistry or physics or philosophy. But this foundation would be quite invaluable. This is a very important question. I can talk about all these. This is not only important, critical question. What is a career for? It's not just a philosophical question. It is as much philosophical as practical. And all of us have different considerations or different consideration sets. But I want to tell you, a career is an opportunity. It's also a journey and an opportunity to learn, to express yourself for personal growth, finding meaning in life, to earn, of course, and also, if possible, help others. So it's a journey and an opportunity. And the consideration set could have several parameters, and the relative weightage of these parameters could also vary depending on how you see the world. In my thinking and writing, I use a term called your theory of life. It is the lens through which you see the world, and it is the filter through which you make sense of the world. 3 key M's when you think about your career and career success and decision making. When you talk about career success, interestingly, it is never or rarely defined by you. It is always defined by someone else for you. If you can somehow have an interesting idea about what success means for you, then you would be quite successful. Then you are actually coming into a unique situation. So a uniquely defined success would be very useful for you. Coming to the point of making decision, these 3 M's are important. Of course, we need money. Whether we need a lot of money or little money or money to survive or money to have a lot of things, that's up to you. Nobody can make that call. Then it should match with the type of studies you are thinking and also the profession you want to have, the career you want to have. So money, match, and above all, the meaning. That would also change. Today, a 17-year-old would look at the world in some way, and after 10 or 20 years, she would look at it slightly differently. So your ability to think about how would my understanding, my idea of meaning of life or meaning of a career, meaning of how I deal with my world would also change. Your idea of kind of envisioning that would be very interesting. Again, money is important, that fit, match is important, and also the meaning you find is important. Here I have 2 interesting examples of a famous CEO. I think you should, if you're young, you should go and Google He was considered to be one of the super CEOs of his time. He was passed away this year. He had a PhD in chemical engineering from Rensselaer Polytechnic. And Kenichi Omae is a famous management guru. He's still alive. He's Japanese. He had a PhD in nuclear engineering from MIT. Interestingly, today, both of them are known for being great management thought leaders, or we call management gurus. So it doesn't matter whether you start with the nuclear engineering or chemical engineering. You could totally end up somewhere where you would get opportunities to enrich yourself or even self-actualize yourself, and at the same time make a difference in the world and help others. Now, the idea of career decision making is not easy. The process is not simple. There's always a paradox. The paradox comes from the fact that you cannot define the future. Sometimes you cannot even define or understand what would you like after 5 years. Let me tell you my personal story. My son started his university at the age of 16. In 2 years, he finished his 4-year degree. In the next 2 months, he will finish his PhD in physics from the University of Cambridge. When I talk to him, he's not very happy. He's thinking I would have done something else. So he will find his way. He will find his passion. He's only 26 years old, but it's not easy. This is my personal story. It's not simple. I started as a metallurgical engineer and a PhD in nanotechnology. Today, I'm sitting here and passionately talking about the importance of studying liberal arts and sciences. So it is normal to be confused, and definitely there is a certain degree of uncertainty about the future. And above all, it is important to understand not what would make you happy, because happiness is rarely sustainable. You rarely see people, they're constantly happy, very, very few. But you would sometimes find people, they're constantly unhappy. So it's very important for us to think and reflect about what would make you unhappy. And finally, what we would do with our young scholars is developing that mindset of constant learning and reflecting, helping, practicing, learning, reflecting, helping, practicing. That is what we do. So a transdisciplinary approach, you are not just looking at the world through the lens of philosophy or physics or sociology or political science or psychology. It's a transdisciplinary approach. You have multiple, diffuse lenses, but you want to see it through various lenses and various angles, the world, for understanding career and life through a broad-based liberal arts and science education is one of the best ways to resolve this uncertainty about the future and not really understanding who you are. And of course, all these are part of that learning journey. Here is another interesting person. He got Nobel Prize in physics for his discovery of electron tunneling in superconductors. He's a Norwegian, very interesting, very funny story. He was not a great student. He got 4 out of 10 in his mechanical engineering degree. He moved to Canada at the time when Norway had a lot of problems with housing, and that is the time of housing crisis. So 4 out of 10. He applied for this GE, General Electric job in Canada. In Canada, the maximum grade point average you can get is 4. His grade was 4. The HR people thought that he is a 4-pointer, that is perfect grade. He got a job as a mechanical engineer. Think about it. He has finally ended up getting Nobel Prize in physics. So great careers are defined by your ability to learn, change, and adapt. So that is what we would help you, or any other good liberal arts and sciences education would give you, to learn, change, and adapt. You're not just doing one thing. You get a very interesting, broad-based foundation. And don't underestimate what is happening with career. Definitely, we are experiencing a career revolution. No doubt. You might not see it in the next 2 or 3 or 5 years. Definitely, you are going to see it soon. I typically ask this question to my students: what a medical doctor can do, which machines can't. So look at this smart watch. I've been having this for the last probably about 4 years. This watch records my heart rate, my sleep patterns, how active I am. Imagine I have a little kind of a fever or some pain or something. I go to a doctor. Typically, doctor spends about, across the world, spends about 20 minutes. Within 20 minutes, probably use the stethoscope, look at your eyes, you look at your ears. What a doctor can find about you and your health condition in 20 minutes is nothing compared to what this device can tell, and smart algorithms can make sense of based on these millions of data points already this device has collected. So what would happen in the next 20 years? Most of general physicians' jobs would disappear. You'll be surprised why it is not happening today, because technological advances and regulatory advances. So regulatory regime, the rule making, is lagging way behind with technological advances. So regulatory advances are not catching up with technological advances. That's why still hundreds of thousands of doctors, I'm not talking about super specialists, even that one. A few months back, I got a call from one of my old Japanese students, and she was telling, I was wondering, she was not emailing or not in touch. She said, oh, I was in the hospital. I had a 19-hour surgery, and that surgery was a completely 100% robotic surgery. That's what is happening. Even in the area of specialist medicine, things are fast changing. Then again, the fundamental question, back to that question, what is a good education for? Definitely it's for knowing yourself, and also for intellectually freeing. Finally, to help you seek excellence constantly. Self-knowledge, intellectual freedom, and an ability to seek excellence. Our School of Liberal Arts and Sciences has been, we have created the school with a close partnership with the University of Groningen, 400 plus year old university in the north of Netherlands. They're a top research university. They even have a Nobel laureate there. So it's a beautiful opportunity. We also have a 2+2 with this school, and we also have 2+2s with many schools in the US, Israel. Now we are talking with schools in Japan and South Korea. Our school is situated in the middle of all those great engineering and science and social science faculties of Thapar University. It is 140 credit hour program. These details, if you want to know, we can get into that during the question answer session. Just to remind you, the central theme is New India and social transformation. And the themes around are AI, cognitive science, technology, culture, politics, philosophy, sustainability, sustainable living, and for the societal transformation, you need to constantly and effectively reflect and reframe problems so that you can find solutions. This is a snapshot of some of our foundation courses. I'm not going into the details